The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
So Kamala Harris has a massive problem right now. I'm sure you've seen what Joe Biden said last night about all of Donald Trump's supporters calling them garbage. Everybody's been talking about it today, the media, the press, social media, and it is a huge stain right now on Kamala's campaign. All of her surrogates, everybody related to the campaign is coming out trying to rectify what Joe Biden said, clarify, add context that doesn't exist. They're trying to make this not front page news and trying to rectify the blowback that Kamala Harris has been receiving from this. But today, Donald Trump responded in the best Trump troll master way possible. Watch this.
How do you like my garbage truck? This truck is in honor of Kamala and Joe Biden.
President Trump, you asked for law enforcement to investigate in Pennsylvania. If they find no evidence of cheating, will you accept the result if you lose?
Well, I guess they had quite a few ballots, 2,600 ballots where the same person was signing them.
But if they find no evidence of cheating, will you accept the results?
Of Pennsylvania, sure. Oh, if they find no evidence of cheating anywhere, I'll accept the results. I hope that's going to be the case. Win, lose, or draw, I hope that's going to be the case.
His campaign was on that. I mean, they got the garbage truck, they got the stickers for the garbage truck, and called a press conference for Trump to speak outside of the garbage truck. His symbolism and his comedic instincts, and they're just so good. You can see why he was a top entertainer and why he was able to transition seamlessly into politics, because he already had the natural likability and charisma and entertainment value and ability to energize people. So it worked out, obviously. But I think this is just a really funny move in the last couple of days. He's going to double down on his messaging that look at what the other side truly thinks of you. And this was an awesome presser to kick that off. But if you didn't see how he reacted live to it last night, as Joe Biden said this in real time, Marco Rubio interrupted Trump on stage at his rally to let him know what Biden had said. And how Trump responded, it's just pure grace. Watch.
Heard this just moments ago. Joe Biden stated that our supporters are garbage.
That's terrible. That's what it says. That's what it says. So you have, remember Hillary, she said deplorable, and then she said irredeemable, right? But she said deplorable, that didn't work out. Garbage, I think, is worse, right? But he doesn't know, you have to please forgive him. Please forgive him, for he not knoweth what he said.
Now, he could have attacked and bashed and riled up the crowd to try to get them to incite violence on Joe Biden. This is what they think of you. You know, he could have done all of that. But what did he tell them to do? Forgive the old man. Forgive these people. So it's just really showing the contrast between Trump and the Democratic Party in these closing days leading up to the election. And I think it will help out a lot with independents, to be honest. So the press asked Kamala today what she thought of President Biden's comments. And this is what she had to say. Watch.
Trump says that while you were making your closing pitch for unity last night, President Biden was calling his supporters garbage. What did you think when you heard President Biden make those comments?
Well, first of all, I think that the president has explained what he meant. But I've said it earlier. I strongly disagree with any criticism of people based on who they vote for. And that I've made that clear throughout my career, including my speech last night before I think this all happened. Which is I intend to be president for all Americans, and including those who may not vote for me in this election. I take very seriously my obligation and my oath to concern myself first with the needs of the American people and put them before whatever might be my selfish issues.
I think after Kamala loses and they look back at this campaign, they're going to see that a major strategic problem that they failed on was not doing enough to distance Kamala Harris from Joe Biden and the sitting administration. I mean, at every turn, She talked about how she would do nothing differently. She can't think of one mistake that they've made. She can't condemn him for calling half of the country garbage. This is going to be a failure on their part because so many people are upset with the Biden administration for how they handled basically everything. That's why Joe Biden had to drop out of the ticket and they anointed Kamala Harris in the most undemocratic way we've ever seen. But I don't understand that at that moment, why the objective of her campaign wasn't throw Biden under the bus. We've already taken the nomination from him. Just throw him under the bus and we can at least try to run on a platform of, hey, we tried to talk some sense into this guy all the time. You guys saw how he acted. Of course we couldn't get anything through. None of our good ideas were able to happen because that's who our president was. And she might have even had a fighting chance. I might honestly be a little bit scared if she would have taken that approach, because whether people believed it or not, her expressing clearly that, hey, I actually tried to do something positive and I just couldn't get it through, would at least make people hopeful, as opposed to her saying things like, I wouldn't have done anything differently. I don't think we made any mistakes. So that's going to be a major blunder that faced Kamala Harris, and I think they're going to look back at that as probably the key reason why she didn't win. They also asked Tim Walz what he thought. And again, just remember, a few days ago, like 3 days ago, this was the same guy calling the Madison Square Garden rally a Nazi rally, a fascist rally, and the people who were attending Nazi supporters, right? So this is what he has to say.
I want to get your reaction to the president's comments, but I want to put it into a larger context of your recent comment comparing the Sunday Trump rally to a Nazi rally. And I would also throw in there Obama's bitter clingers, guns and religion comment from a while back, the deplorable line from Hillary Clinton's campaign, and the way that Democrats are seen by some voters as disrespecting them. And I have to ask, does that undercut this closing message of unity from your campaign?
No, certainly not. And Bertoni, for me, I've represented rural areas. I've represented Democrats, Republicans, Independents. Same thing with the vice president. Look, you saw a presidential speech last night at the Ellipse that is the best of America, one that's talking about unifying us, one that's talking about bringing folks to the table, one that the American tradition of disagreeing and debating, but still doing it in a respectful manner.
I just don't understand how their messaging changes. Just on a dime, just 180 out of nowhere. I thought they were going to be running with the whole fascist Hitler thing right up until the election. But it seems right now they just decided, nope, we're going with the peace, love, unity, governing for all, everybody has a seat at our table kind of messaging. And I just don't understand. I think what they're doing is they're insulting the intelligence and the attention spans of Americans. And they're saying, if we just say this enough times in a short amount of time, they're just going to forget what we said 3 days ago. I mean, look at Kamala supporters. They've already accepted the fact that all of her policies have done a complete 180. So why not her rhetoric as well, too? If she can't be held accountable for anything, she doesn't have to stand on anything, then why in the world would they not have a green light to just change up the rhetoric and change up their actions and perspectives on a dime without having to really make the case to anybody for why it's changed? So the media is absolutely desperate right now for any kind of optimism because I think they understand that Kamala Harris is finished and they're unprepared to live under 4 more years of Trump. So Republicans are overperforming in early voting, which is extremely rare, and usually the Democrats take that by a large majority. But in some swing states right now, Republicans are even up in early voting. And this is scaring a lot of Democrats. So what does MSNBC do? They try to manufacture some optimism. Watch.
Jamel Bowie writes in the New York Times, far from showing strength, he's writing about the MSG, the Madison Square Garden rally. Yep. But he says, far from showing strength, the Madison Square Garden rally showed that the MAGA movement is a spent and exhausted force, even if it is not yet defeated. I sort of wonder, as you go to these events, whether that comports with the reality that you're witnessing. I mean, does it feel like a movement that has lost steam, that is more carnival than it is political movement?
Well, I do feel like the circus has come through town many times now, and people are still coming out to see the three-armed man, still telling themselves lies that that's not a prosthetic, that is a third arm indeed. But we are seeing less and less people there.
So they are just grasping at straws here, coping so hard on a major level, just trying to convince themselves in any way possible that this election isn't going to go for Donald Trump when they know that it is. With early voting at historic rates and enthusiasm amongst Republicans to vote higher than it has been in the last 2 cycles for Donald Trump, these kind of reportings and this kind of broadcasting is just so disingenuous, and it just shows how sensitive their viewers are and how they need to be coddled and reassured that Orange Man isn't going to get back into the presidency. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out a lot. I'm going to be trying to create as much content as I can leading up to Election Day and giving you guys my reactions on the latest news that is dropping. So with that said, I will see you in the next one.